Pick Studio. This is Shaggy.
Hey, Shaggy, it's Tom Keifer.
Tom Keifer, what is going on, my brother? How you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, man. How about yourself?
You know what? No complaints. We're just sitting here looking forward to CInderella's Tom Keifer Band, LA Guns, Mountain America Center in Idaho Falls on September 13th. Can't wait for the show.
Yeah, looking forward to it, man. We haven't played Idaho Falls with my solo band, so all of Keifer Band are looking forward to it.
Oh, definitely. Now, I think CInderella probably played, I don't know, maybe like Pocatello or something back in the day, I'm guessing.
That rings a bell, yeah. That's going back a ways, but this time we're playing Mountain America Center, which I hear is a pretty cool place.
Yeah, it is. Just opened up a couple years ago. Brand spanking new venue for you, and out with LA Guns. Now, this is probably, what, your second or third time going out with LA Guns now?
Yeah, we've toured with them off and on since 22. Our first tour back after the pandemic was with LA Guns, and actually Faster Pussycat was on that too. And they've done a couple other runs with us since then too, man. It's a good pairing. They're great guys. Killer band live. So, it's a great show between the two bands.
No doubt about that. Probably a blast going out on the road with those guys, I'm sure.
Absolutely, yeah.
Now, before we get into anything, I did want to bring something up, just out of tribute. Obviously, a little over a week ago, we lost one of the greatest rock stars to ever live, Mr. Ozzy Osbourne. Now, what did Ozzy Osbourne mean to you as a musician?
Man, I loved Sabbath growing up, and, to me, he was kind of like, he was the king of heavy music, I don't use the word metal because, I don't know, he did so much more than that, but, I mean, he really was the innovator to me, with starting with Black Sabbath and then with his solo stuff of just the heavy, hard, dark rock. His lyrics were just amazing. Obviously, his persona was just, everybody loved Ozzy. He spent a lot of time with him on the trip to Moscow for the Moscow Music Peace Festival. That's probably the most that I had been around him. And he was just such a great guy and just so funny. He just had everybody laughing all the time. Man. So it's a great loss, really great loss.
Now, I never had the pleasure to meet him or interview him or anything like that. Everyone seems to have their own crazy Ozzy Osbourne stories, and I figure a trip to Moscow, you probably have a couple.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think one of the funniest moments was we did a press conference when we first got there, and he was asked, what's the difference between America and Russia? And, remember, this is back in the 80s, so Domino's Pizza in the whole 30 minutes or your pizza's free. Mm-hmm. He just said something kind of like, in America, if we don't get our pizza in 30 minutes, we're angry and we want it for free. And he said, they're still waiting for their pizza here. And just the whole room just cracked up.
Definitely sounds like an Ozzy Osbourne moment.
I think anyone that was at that press conference will remember that moment because everybody just, he just had a way about him. He was just funny.
And man, that was a guy that went out until the last second. I mean, he played his farewell show, 2 weeks before he ended up passing? I mean, if that's not rock and roll, I don't know what is.
Yeah, roughly. And, I've seen clips from it. It's really great. And, I really love that track that he released recently, the Gods of Rock and Roll is amazing.
Yeah, it was really good. Yeah, totally agree.
His voice is as good as ever. And actually, fun fact, Fred Coury, the drummer of CInderella, scored the strings on that track and was involved in that track. So.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we played that here on the Pick when it first came out, and so I'll have to throw that one on again.
Yeah, it's a beautiful track, man. I really love it. His voice just still sounded so amazing.
And see, I thought so too. There were some people complaining at the last Ozzy Osbourne performance saying, oh, when he sang Mama, I'm Coming Home, then he couldn't hit the notes. But it's like what people failed to realize, he was crying. He was in tears, and there was snot coming down from his nose. It's like the man was in an emotional state. It's hard to hit notes when you're in an emotional state like that.
Well, of course, yeah. He was the king, man.
Oh, definitely the king. Now, your past vocal issues have been well documented, but despite all of that, your multiple surgeries and stuff, your voice still sounds incredible, just like Ozzy, in my personal opinion. I was actually watching some recent videos of you live, and seriously, you still sound so amazing. So what are you doing to keep your voice in shape?
I was taught a long story, but for years and years and years, and I still do have a partial paralysis of my left vocal cord. So I've tried everything. I won't go into all of it, but eventually I met an opera teacher who taught me a technique called bel canto, which is what they taught in the European opera houses. And it's just this really amazing, like, core support that has given me enough support to be able to sing through the paralysis. So I do that every day for an hour or more. I do it before the show. I do a little bit after the show. It's just, I'll always have this condition, so I have to, this kind of just helps me support and get around the weakness.
Well, do you know what? Whatever you're doing, keep on doing it. Because like I said, seriously, I think your voice sounds incredible. And we can't wait to see it live on September 13th.
Thank you so much. It's always nice to hear that.
Yeah, of course. Now, when you were kind of at the height of having your vocal issues, was there ever a moment where you almost walked away from music altogether?
No, I mean, there was times where it held me up from being able to tour or record. It was very different once I had that. When we made Still Climbing, recording vocals was like, singing a line at a time and do it again and do it again. And, the first 3 records, I just went in and just kind of sang the song through on multiple tracks, and then we would just comp, So it was much more of an effort, and kind of getting, it just took longer, when we made that record. And touring, I was up and down for years. I mean, it's nice, to hear your thoughts on my voice now. But there were tours that I was less than, and I really give credit to the fans for kind of taking the reins and singing lines that I couldn't sing, and they've just been amazing. And, I've kind of come out the other end, knock on wood, it's been pretty solid in recent years, particularly with touring with the solo band. It's been getting stronger and stronger ever since I started with that opera teacher, which was in 2009. It's just kind of every year just gotten stronger and stronger. So
basically, that's the secret to rock and roll is opera.
I don't know about that, but he told me, he said, warm up like an opera singer and go sing like a rocker. So,
yeah,
he taught many people. I mean, the list of people that he taught is everyone from hard rock singers to pop singers to, he passed away a few years ago, unfortunately, but he was kind of the top dog in the field. So,
and that's the thing, most audiences are going to be forgiving for any voice issues that may be happening. For example, John Bon Jovi and Steven Tyler in the past couple years have both had vocal issues going on, but Steven Tyler, he performed at that Black Sabbath farewell show and sounded incredible. What advice would you give to singers like Steven Tyler or John Bon Jovi that are, just kind of starting to have these issues?
I would say, and they're hard to find, because Ron Anderson told me at the time that no matter what your issue is, and he had quite a story. He injured his vocal cords like years ago, way worse than any of the people you just mentioned or me. And at the end of the day, it's about core support from way down in your abdomen. And that's what the bel canto technique teaches. There's not a lot of people that teach it properly. I worked with a million vocal coaches that never taught me any of this crap. But regardless of what your issue is, core support is the key to being able to have the strength to support your voice. So I would recommend to anyone to find someone that teaches true bel canto opera technique. And again, there's not many left. And learn it.
Well, that is solid advice, and we appreciate it. So I got to bring up, I'm a guitar player, not on your level, obviously, but I like to dabble around in my basement when I get a spare few minutes here and there. As a guitar player, I'm always interested in hearing about your current gear setup.
Well, my current gear setup is the same as it's been since the 80s. I use Marshall 100-watt super leads. I've got a black panel basement that I use as a delay setup. I've got an old Ibanez rack effect thing that's got a parametric equalizer and a delay that you can separate the delay out 100% wet to the fender. And I don't really use an overdrive pedal. I just kind of jack the EQ up on that thing for solos, and it just kind of fattens it up and overdrives it a little bit more. But I've got those amps just dimed, and nothing sounds like those old super leads. So it's kind of what I've always played through. Literally the same heads and cabinets that I've been using since the 80s.
If it's not broke, don't fix it, right?
You can't beat a Marshall 100-watt super lead from the 70s, late 60s, early 70s. You can't beat them.
And it's funny that you bring up, you use the equalizer. I was talking to Michael Sweet from Stryper a couple months back, and he does the same thing. No distortion pedal or anything. He just loves those parametric equalizers.
Yeah, when you dime those old Marshalls, they have a pretty crunchy rhythm sound, and you just need just a touch more for the solo. 11. I just boost the shit out of like the lower mids around 700, kind of like a bell curve, and it just overdrives and fattens it up for solos. And the delay comes on then, which is separated out into the Fender cabinet, which is just makes it sound huge.
That's awesome. Always chasing the perfect tone, right?
Yeah.
Now, I know that you were a Les Paul guy towards the beginning of CInderella. Is that still the case?
Oh, I'm an everything guy. I always have been. The very early days, I had a Paul. When I started collecting guitars, it's Fender, it's Gretsch. It's like, I love Firebirds. I've got 3 or 4 beautiful Firebirds. I just got a Cower Firebird a few years ago that I love. But I still have the Pauls. I still have play Black Les Paul on stage, custom, and Gretsch's I love. I just got a cool new red Sparkle Jet last year.
Oh, cool.
So I'm always mixing it up there because guitar tones on the CInderella records and even on my solo records, they change from song to song. It's not all the same guitar tone. And I've always gotten that through the guitar, not a pedal, if that makes sense, because a Gretsch sounds very different than a Les Paul. A Firebird sounds very different than so that's how, to me, I get different sounds. So literally on stage, I'm changing guitars like every song. A lot of that has to do with tunings because I've got some pretty bizarre open tunings for some songs. I keep my tech pretty busy.
Well, hey, that's his job, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Tom Keifer, I don't want to take up too much of your time. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Once again, CInderella's Tom Keifer Band and LA Guns, Mountain America Center in Idaho Falls. That's going to be September 13th, and we cannot wait. Now, I just got to ask, I did have some listeners text in wanting me to ask you this. At this point, it's just CInderella's Tom Keifer Band. CInderella is done going forward, correct?
Yeah, I mean, it has been for a long time. Everybody is kind of off doing their own thing. And once Jeff passed away, the 4 of us just felt that it, would never be the same without him. We're friends involved in a lot of production work, and I'm doing the solo thing, and Eric's been playing with different artists and stuff. So that's kind of where it's at. And, I think since we never played Idaho Falls before, just if anyone's curious, the Keifer Band plays, all the CInderella hits and classics or whatever you want to call them. But the fact that I was a singer and wrote pretty much most of the songs and did a lot of the guitar work, it's something that I still really like playing those songs. So if people are wondering what to expect at the show, it's a big, loud rockin' show with a lot of CInderella hits and some tracks off of some of the solo records too. So 7-piece band, keyboards, percussion, and singers, and it's a loud, screaming rock show with everything you'd want to hear.
We'd expect nothing less from Tom Keifer, that's for sure. Thanks so much for joining me again. Before I let you go, one more thing. I have a segment on my show every single weekday called Shaggy's Picks, where I get to throw on whatever song I want. But today, I'm handing it over to you. It's going to be Tom Keifer's picks. So something from your solo career, maybe something from CInderella, maybe something from Ozzy Osbourne. Whatever you want to hear, we're going to play it.
I'm going to say, because it's in the show this year, from the album, our album Rise, the song The Death of Me.
Well, do you know what? Consider it done. It shall be played. Tom Keifer, thank you so much. Once again, Mountain America Center, September 13th. You got to be there. Tickets are available on our website at pickidaho.com. So check that out because you will seriously be missing out on a rockin' show. Anything else you want to say, Tom?
That's it. We're just looking forward to it. First time coming through that area, and we're looking forward to seeing everyone and having a great time.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Tom Keifer, thank you so much for joining me, man. I really appreciate your time.
All right, brother. Thanks a lot.
Yeah!